afford to look human, you're going to the farm. It's as simple as that.
Do you have any idea how much it costs to have an entire family in glamour?
I can't finish the mirror. It's missing a piece.
Crane must have taken a shard with him.
The open arms.
Enjoy your stay.
Thanks, Bigby. And thanks for covering for me last time, too.
Bigby? How could you do this to me? I guess I finally see you for who you are! Tell me who did it! Just tell me who did it! I know you know!
I don't think he did it.
What?
Look at him. Do you really think this man murdered these women?
It was a good show, but, you know...
Just take him, okay? Take Crane.
Well, this is gonna be a beautiful relationship we have with you guys. Really, I mean it. Out with the old, in with the new. Long live the Queen.
Hello once again, players of good video games. My name is Nick Pell, and this is my review of The Wolf Among Us Episode 4, In Sheep's Clothing. Now, as usual, there will be spoilers in this review from the past 3 episodes this time, and so just know that going in. If you are not caught up through this episode, you will have things spoiled for you, and there will also be minor spoilers in the first part of the review, and then I'll very quickly talk about the end of the episode towards the end of the video, so just know that going into it. Now, when we last saw Bigby and Snow White, Bigby Wolf was getting shot up by Bloody Mary, and he had gone full wolf form, and he had, in my version of events, killed one of the Tweedles, and he was very close to being killed. And then we find out that there is this major player behind all of these events, and he is called the Crooked Man. And so episode 4 is essentially trying to figure out who this person is, and leading up to the season finale of this season of The Wolf Among Us. The episode opens up with Bigby being patched up by the doctor. This is a really interesting scene because we get to see Bigby fairly vulnerable in this situation. The only thing that could really kill him was silver bullets, and that's what Bloody Mary shot him with. And so we see him kind of on the brink of death. If the doctor didn't get all the silver out, Bigby would have died. It's just a very interesting situation to be in. And so this episode is slightly less dramatic than the other 3 have been, just for the point that this is more of a investigative episode more than just an action-packed episode. It's really Bigby just kind of investigating the Crooked Man and making visits to people and just trying to figure out who this guy is. And so that's essentially what you do throughout the episode. I really didn't mind it too terribly much. I found it kind of interesting just seeing the different aspects of all these characters and everyone who's involved behind this huge plot and scheme. And then when you have to make the choice between, do I go here first or do I go here first? I thought the 2 reveals in those places were really interesting, just seeing how deep this whole conspiracy goes, so I really liked that. In terms of graphics are obviously the same. There were a few hiccups graphics-wise in terms of loading, but once they got solved right away in the part of the episode that they were loading, it went very smoothly. Everything continues to improve with each episode that Telltale releases, and I really enjoy seeing that. Gameplay wise, we have, again, more of the same. We have dialogue options and choices. We have fighting scenes, which we have one of this time, and then we have a lot more looking around and examining objects type of situations this time around too, which I found kind of interesting. So in terms of enjoyment, I actually enjoyed The Wolf Among Us Episode 4 in Sheep's Clothing a lot more than I was kind of expecting to. I saw IGN's review and they didn't really like it too terribly much, but I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was kind of a setup for this finale that is going to be amazing and action-packed, hopefully, with Bigby versus the Crooked Man and Bloody Mary, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this wraps up, who lives, who dies, and what will ultimately occur as a result of all of these types of things. So if you haven't checked it out for some reason, go and buy it right now. It's definitely worth your time, and it's a great sub to episode 5, which I'm really looking forward to. So at this point, I will be talking about the ending of the episode and some of the more detailed choices and things that you had to deal with. So just know that going into this bit of the review. So recently I've started to read the Fables comics, and so I kind of know a little bit more of who's going to live, who's going to die, and they're not in the comics at this point. I'm either assuming that they've been shipped off to the farm or they get killed in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of my motivation for how I've treated Colin and Toad. Colin, in the comics, he is up at the farm and events happen surrounding him, and so I kind of figured he is going to eventually end up there. And this is supposed to be a prequel to the comics, so things that happen now are eventually going to lead into those. So I might as well just get it over with, because it's going to happen anyway. Same with Toad. Toad we don't really see at all in the comics, so I'm assuming he does get shipped off to the farm, or he gets killed in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. That's another motivation. So I kind of just went with Snow in those aspects. Dealing with essentially the end of the episode, we see Big B finally put the mirror together. We see Ichabod Crane being sent off to Paris. This is another callback to the comics. In like the 20-something issues, we see Ichabod Crane for the first time in the comics, and he is in Paris, and there is a scheme surrounding him, and kind of callbacks to essentially these events in themselves. And so it's kind of nice to see that being set up as well. And eventually Big B does find the Crooked Man. He enters the secret doorway and is entered into his lair and confronts the guy. We don't really see anything else happen after this. I'm assuming this is where the finale will set up. He finds the Crooked Man, he finds all of his lackeys around him as well, and the next time on segment seems like it's going to be really intense and really cool and exciting, so I am really looking forward to it. If it's going to be anything like Walking Dead's Season 1 finale was, I am amped up and ready for it. I'm assuming it'll come out in July sometime. If it comes out in June, I'll be ecstatic, but I highly doubt that. So yeah, that's my review of The Wolf Among Us, Episode 4 in Sheep's Clothing. Definitely go check it out if you haven't already. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe as well, if you so choose. I would appreciate that very, very much. As always, my good people, my name is Nick Pell, and once again, keep on gaming.
Why don't you have a seat, Sheriff? We have a great deal to discuss.
It's over. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
I've heard stories about you. In the old days, how you picked off those men one by one. Oh, how they screamed. The wolf is coming. And they would wait, hiding anywhere they could squeeze their pathetic, shivering corpses. Some would just drop to their knees where they stood, close their eyes, and wait for death. And you'd give it to them. I wish I could have seen it. Oh well.